the power of thanksgiving to Mother Nature. It is such a powerful thing that each and every person, if it starts to thanks Mother Nature for everything what Mother Nature has given us in abundance, and free of cost. The only cost to avail it or to utilize it is just to realize that how lucky each and every individual on this globe is. And as soon as one has the feeling, one has the sense of accomplishment, one has the sense of achievement, one has the sense of fulfillment, all the physical health, mental peace, and spiritual upliftment starts happening. Why? Because as soon as one starts feeling that he has attained that much, that he has everything in abundance, as soon as the person realizes that, the whole concept, the whole thinking, the whole perception, whole totality of life changes. What happens if one has a very big amount, healthy, utilizable, good amount in his bank? He feels comfortable, he feels sustained, he feels contained, he feels secured. Now, that is something which can last for a certain time. So, if we have that and one starts thinking in comfortable manner, a sense of accomplishment happens and the whole perception of a person towards life, towards future changes, and person starts behaving in very satisfactory manner, in settled manner, in a stable manner. Similarly, if the money in the bank, which can last not for good, but one starts feeling that he has enough for this much time, and a typical types of relaxation happens in his life, in her life. So, similarly, if we simply realize that how lucky everybody on this earth is, that he has everything in abundance in the nature, in Mother Nature, then one starts feeling that he or she is in absolutely secure hands. Psyche would change. But the thing is that as soon as one realizes that he has enough in his banks, then he feels secured and he can take all the steps which are more purusharthamay, which can be taken only with the great confidence to do something big. Similarly, if one is having that feeling that the person is having everything in abundance given by Mother Nature, then that is called yogastha. When you are aligned and tuned with that totality, then your confidence becomes infinite. then a miracle happens in a life. And that miracle is that whatever the person does, all the good forces, they start helping each other. And whatever a person does becomes successful in that. Because now the confidence of abundance is there in his mind, in her mind. And a typical thing happens when you have enough in your pocket, then you have a different confidence. Similarly, when you have enough, after feeling yogastha, after being yogastha, after becoming aligned with that totality, with that consciousness which is running universe, which is responsible to make everything, every seed, to sapling, to a tree, to a fruitful tree, from a child to a young man, to, a man of a family, extended family, great family, long, big family. Similarly, a person who is having the feeling of thanks to Mother Nature feels in tuned with totality, and a typical thing happens. It is not that we are having faith in nothingness. It is simply an illusion. No, something miraculous happens. Then when a typical trust of abundance, trust of having abundance, trust of feeling in tuned with abundance, when the thing grows, then you own the universe, and that is called Aham Brahmasmi. And as soon as Aham Brahmasmi happens, one starts owing everything. And when it starts owing everything, so whenever he or she does whatever job, whatever work he or she takes in his or her hand, that is done with total confidence, with totality, with absolute satisfaction. And with that is called Guru Kripa. That is called divine blessing. That is called input with totality. And this is something very typical. One can only enjoy when a person is in tuned like that. At that level, a person, that's why whatever a yogi or a rishi or a maharishi or a person who is yogastha, who is in tune with that, if he blesses something, so because he is in tune with that totality, if he gives boon, it happens. A great rishi, a great saint never curses. Only natural law works on its own, and a person gets bounced back his or her karma. That is what is called curse or negativity or whatever it is. A good yogi, a person who is yogastha never curses. Only positivity flows from within. Right? So when a person who is in tune with that, whatever he or she takes sankalpa of, resolution of, it is helped by Mother Nature, is such a beautiful way, is such an abundance way. It has everything in abundance. The whole nature starts supporting, and whatever one starts doing gets success in. So only thanking Mother Nature is something wonderful, is something nourishing, is something inspiring, is something which gives moral boost your morale to an infinite level. So one indulges in whatever good job, whatever positive thing, whatever nourished thing, whatever thing which is nourishing to nature, which is good for every humanity, every individual of humanity, which is nourishing to nature on all levels, it starts happening in very beautiful way. Then the life of that person becomes being with the nature. And this is the great gift given by Maharishi, that is science of being. When you thank with nature, when you are in tune with nature, when you are aligned with nature through meditation, then you become Aham Brahmasmi, you become that. When you know thyself, you become that self. है ना, जानत तुम्हें तुम्हें ही जाए. When you go to know that self, you become that self. And by thanking that, you develop a belonging to that totality which is infinite. So when one is in tune with infinite, so whatever the person owns becomes infinite. Confidence becomes infinite. Effort, the potential of effort becomes infinite. And it is a simple formula of physics. If we have 100% input, there has to be 100% output. So whatever you are indulged in, you will get definitely success in that. When in Gita, it is said, karma nivadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. It doesn't have that meaning only that do the karma, don't anticipate the results. It simply tells you that every karma has its own result within it. It simply means that without deviating, if you do something with totality, with total confidence, with total input, what it requires, then it is a simple formula of physics that if your input is 100%, then output has to be 100%. There is no other way. If we deviate or if we lose some calories in thinking whether it will happen or not, then what happens? The required input calories lessens. Then when your input is less than output, if it has 100% of input also, then because your input was less than required, then your result becomes less than required. It is not full. So karmanivadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana means that don't think for result. If your input is correct, karma phal nihit hai. Every result is, within the karma. If your input is 100%, output has to be 100%. There is no other way. It's a basic scientific formula. So that's why if we have thanks to Mother Nature for everything, whatever we have, everything is in abundance. The only thing is that very purely, very innocently, one has to start being in yoga-stha, being in a land, being in tune with that. And when you are in tune with that, your purusharth, your effort, your karma, whatever smallest or whatever biggest, you take in your hand, it becomes so fulfilled, it becomes so nourishing, it becomes so result-giving, because it is nourishing to nature. Your thought has to be like that, so that it nourishes each and every unit of the globe. It nourishes Mother Nature. If it nourishes Mother Nature, the whole Mother Nature nourishes you, and you are supported, and that is called the support of nature. So that is the miracle of faith, that is the miracle of dedication, that is the miracle of being in tune with that. That is called Traigun Shabd, and it's Traigun Bhavachun Yogastha Kuru Karmani. Then Maya Dhyakshen Prakriti Suyati Se Characharam. So that is the beauty, that is the miracle of thanksgiving to nature, and it happens naturally, very spontaneously when you are establishing that consciousness in that totality, that every time you feel thankful to Mother Nature, a kritagya bhav, a person who is thankless, who doesn't thank anybody, who nags everybody, who create negativity, and who just search for negative points, and who just starts criticizing everybody. So it simply means that he or she is not in tune with totality, that sense of aloofness, that sense of duality, that somebody or something is lesser or criticizable, one starts nagging because these shortcomings is within that person who criticizes, because that reflects in his or her nature, nagging, criticizing everybody, making everybody cut short. It simply tells that shortcomings within that consciousness who is indulged in that type of job, right? So if a person who is absolutely in tune with, so he is fulfilled, and as Maharshi says, that a person gives what he has. So if he has not totality, negativity, unfulfilledness, and lackness of something, so he or she sees this in everybody. He tries to make everybody cut short. Everybody is criticized by that person, that consciousness creates negativity everywhere. So the person who is fulfilled, he like overflowing well, it simply naturally, spontaneously irrigates everything around that well, which is overflowing, all surroundings, it gets irrigated, and because it gets irrigated, it becomes fertile, and everywhere all around the source of irrigation, everybody feels that joy, everything is green all around that. So the person who is yogastha, who is established in totality, never sees any negativity, never tries to cut short anybody, anywhere, anytime. He simply enjoys fulfillment, he sees fulfillment, he shares fulfillment, he gives fulfillment, because he is every time full of totality, full of fulfillment, because he feels thankfulness, towards Mother Nature, because he or she himself is established in that totality and has the sense of abundance. And that sense of abundance, sense of belonging to that totality, starts very naturally giving thanks for everything, every surrounding, every affiliation, every attachment, every belonging to surrounding. So this is the miracle of thanks, giving thanks to Mother Nature. So simply just being in alignment with that, the totality starts helping a person, and that is called Mother Nature's support. And whatever the person who has that consciousness, whatever, whether a person indulges in any job, he becomes enlightened. We have examples of Kabir, we have examples of all the great saints who were doing so-called, we should never think anything like small or big, but so-called any type of job, but they become enlightened. We have all big names, so many big names in all the sects of so-called beliefs. Those who were indulged in very, very small handicrafts, of small jobs, but because they through that, or because they were established in that totality, that job, whatever smallest so-called in society job they were indulging, they were absolutely enlightened, and they enlightened many generations. So this is the beauty and this is the miracle of Thanksgiving, because it proves that the person is established in that totality, in that he is floating in that ocean, unbounded ocean of happiness, of bliss. You know? So this is the beauty and miracle of Thanksgiving to Mother Nature. One should feel every moment how obliged, how thankful every person on this earth, on this lovely Mother Nature is.